Are you blaming this on social media?
I'm talking about the power of social media.
They call it justice. But for powerful black men in America, it's blackmailed. You don't need a guilty verdict. You don't even need evidence. All it takes is a whisper. From the mountaintop to the mugshot, our greatest have been dragged through the dirt. Bill Cosby, once America's dad, now America's cautionary tale. O.J. Simpson, the face of guilt even after being found not guilty. Jonathan Majors, from Marvel megastar to court appearances in Harlem. Nate Parker, his film Birth of a Nation was DOA the moment his past was weaponized. Martin Luther King Jr., they couldn't kill his dream, so they tried to stain his name. Jack Johnson, first black heavyweight champ, brought down by the Mann Act for dating a white woman. Shannon Sharpe, tour postponed, reputation muted. Michael Jackson, global icon whose name still trends more for accusations than accolades. Zion Williamson, a rookie contract and a $50 million bombshell. Kobe Bryant, accused and acquitted, yet forever judged. Diddy, from bad boy to big headlines. Deshaun Watson, R. Kelly. Some guilty, others gray, but all publicly lynched before court even began. Meanwhile, Jerry Lee Lewis married his 13-year-old cousin and still made it to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Elvis Presley groomed Priscilla from age 14, his estate still sells out. Hugh Hefner ran a mansion full of barely legal bunnies and died a legend. Woody Allen married his stepdaughter. Gene Simmons sang Christine 16a song fantasizing about an underage girl. They got awards. Black men got allegations. This isn't about guilt or innocence anymore. This is the weaponization of womanhood and the monetization of scandal. If you're a black man with money, fame, or power, you're not being protected. You're being targeted. And in 2025, justice ain't about facts. It's about feelings, followers, and fundraising. So yeah, Diddy might be a demon. Zion might be dumb. Shannon might be reckless. But if we're judging people off accusations without evidence, then all of us are just one bad date away from a press conference. 30 years ago, the O.J. trial split America along racial lines. But now, it's not black versus white. It's men versus the whisper economy. Welcome to Rank Mogul. This is Blackmaled. Let's talk about it. You ever notice how powerful a whisper is these days? Not a scream, not a voicemail, not even a full paragraph. Just a whisper. One breathy little "he tried it," and boom, Nike pulls your deal, Gatorade switches up your label, and TMZ got a drone over your grandma's backyard cookout. We used to say innocent until proven guilty. Now it's guilty until Gayle King gets the exclusive. Now look, I'm not saying every woman who speaks up is lying. But I am saying we let accusation turn into execution without even asking for evidence. And it don't even gotta be loud. No press conference. No op-ed. Just post a selfie with a sad face and the caption, "I can't be silent anymore," and boom. Twitter becomes CSI, SVU. Hell, your followers will crowdsource the lawsuit for you. Girl, say he controlled your bank account, your playlist, your chakras. We adding emotional, financial, and metaphysical damages. Don't forget the Uber receipts from 2019. You don't need a lawyer. Just a ring light, a sad playlist, and a story that sounds just close enough to believable. The whisper used to be a warning. Now it's a weapon. One woman whispers, and billion-dollar brands hit the unfollow button like it's a hostage negotiation. And the scariest part? We don't even call it what it is anymore. It ain't defamation. It's her truth. It ain't blackmail. It's healing. It ain't clout chasing. It's raising awareness. And don't try to defend yourself. That's a whole new charge, gaslighting in the third degree. Believe women is the new subpoena. Zion's ex wants $50 million. Shannon's tour disappeared like his takes on Undisputed. And Diddy? Diddy's turning into a multi-part Hulu docuseries in real time. Now I'm not saying these brothers are innocent. I'm saying we better start asking why guilt moves faster than facts. Because if a whisper can wreck a legacy, then a rumor is a wrecking ball. And God help any man who had a toxic ex with a strong Wi-Fi signal. Tonight on Rank Mogul, we breaking down the ruined Zion, Shannon, Diddy, and asking the only question that matters. Is this justice, or is this just gender revenge dressed up as feminism? And if you got soft feelings or make money off victimhood, this might not be the show for you. Let's rank the wreckage. Zion Williamson. Former Duke superstar. NBA phenom. Human highlight reel with the knees of a 70-year-old mechanic. But this week? Zion ain't trending for dunks. He's trending for digits, $50 million to be exact. That's how much his ex-girlfriend, going by Jane Doe, says he owes her. Not for investments. Not for kids. For allegedly raping, abusing, and emotionally tormenting her. For 5 years. Let's be clear, these are serious allegations. But let's also be clear, $50 million? Sis, that's not trauma compensation, that's a Powerball ticket. She says it started back at Duke. Zion was 18. She was older. She says he was controlling, abusive, sexually violent. She says he kept this up through college, through the NBA draft, through sneaker deals, injuries, rehab, and Instagram thirst traps. Now pause. If you were in a relationship for 5 years with an NBA player who allegedly abused you, controlled you, and wrecked your mental health. But you stayed until the contract matured and the house got bigger. What exactly are we dealing with here? Love? Or leverage? Zion's lawyers say it's all cap. No police report. No medical records. Just a civil suit. Translation: cut the check or I cut your character. You ever notice how these cases skip the cops and go straight to the courtroom? That ain't justice. That's a GoFundMe with legal fees. But let's talk timing. This drops while Zion's career is already on thin ice. The Pelicans wondering if he's a franchise player or a full-time rehab patient. Now this lawsuit shows up like a plot twist in a Lifetime movie. Right when he's most vulnerable. When public opinion is already shaky. When he's got millions to lose and no championships to show. This is the new playbook: wait until the bag is at its peak. Then demand a slice of the trauma pie. And look, if it's true, throw the book at him. Hell, throw the library. But if it's not? This man's entire legacy, reputation, and future gets shredded by an accusation no one fact-checked before retweeting. Meanwhile, ESPN gotta put up Zion's highlights with a legal disclaimer at the bottom like it's a prescription drug commercial. Zion Williamson scored 28 points in his return. Side effects may include civil suits, reputational damage, and being cancelled by brunch. And let's not pretend the dollar amount doesn't matter. $50 million? That ain't therapy, that's an estate plan. You want healing, you go to counseling. You want wealth, you file civil. So here's the Rank Mogul take: if Zion did what she says he did, we need more than headlines, we need handcuffs. But if he didn't, then this is just another whisper that wrecks, a tactical takedown using the court of public opinion as a sledgehammer. Either way, the damage is already done. His name trends with the word rape before rebound. That's the real cost. Coming up next, Shannon Sharpe's sexual assault fallout and the disappearing nightcap tour. We ranking receipts, reputations, and regrets. Stay tuned. Shannon Sharpe. Hall of Famer. Meme King. The human emoji with the Hennessy tumbler in one hand and black and mild wisdom in the other. But now? Uncle Shay Shay's got his mic muted. The nightcap NSFW tour with Chad Ochocinco? Postponed. Not because of ticket sales. Not because of logistics. But because Shannon Sharpe is knee-deep in a $50 million sexual assault lawsuit from a woman accusing him of physical abuse, threats, and psychological warfare. Gabriela Zuniga. That's the accuser. She says Shannon turned their relationship into a horror movie with luxury branding. Says he abused her over time emotionally, sexually, physically, and now she wants $50 million in reparations. Sound familiar? That's the same dollar figure as Zion's case. Is that just the new number? The sexual assault starter pack? $50 mil or bust? Let's call this what it is, the whisper economy. No arrests. No charges. Just lawsuits with NBA and NFL flavor. Accusations that hit the internet faster than they ever hit a precinct. Meanwhile, Shannon says he's postponing the nightcap tour to make it even bigger in 2026. That's a cute way of saying, my brand's too hot to handle right now. Let's keep it funky. When you're facing an accusation that's serious, your jokes don't land the same. Your merch don't move the same. Your business partners suddenly have amnesia. Shannon's been the voice of accountability for years. Checking folks like Skip Bayless, Ja Morant, Kwame Brown, and even your favorite fake tough guys on Twitter. But now? His own mic is glitching. This is what we call a credibility cramp. You can't sell grown man discipline while ducking allegations like dodgeballs. The worst part? His critics ain't even talking facts. They just wait for the headlines and go, see? Told y'all that muscle shirt was hiding something. Now imagine you're Shannon Sharpe, a 56-year-old NFL vet who worked your way into media superstardom, built a platform from scratch, went viral every Monday, and then boom. One lawsuit and your tour gets shelved like a bad mixtape. The world don't wait for facts. They skip to the part where you're guilty by Google search. Let's not pretend this isn't happening in a pattern. The whisper drops. The lawsuit comes. The projects pause. The sponsors bounce. The audience side eyes. Then. What? Even if you beat it, you lose. Even if you're innocent, your brand's already bruised. And that's the game. Meanwhile, the folks who accuse you? No mugshot. No deposition clips. No press conference. Just an exclusive report and a hope that the settlement hits before the headlines fade. Shannon's case might not even go to trial. These lawsuits rarely do. But the stain sticks either way. The same fans who quote his memes and laugh at Club Shay Shay now whisper behind the screen like, man, I don't know. He always did seem a little too smooth. But here's the Rank Mogul truth. In 2025, your vibe is your verdict. Doesn't matter what actually happened. If the vibe feels wrong, they'll cancel your tour, your talk show, and your tailgate in 24 hours or less. And that's where Shannon sits now. Not in court, but in cultural limbo. Not found guilty, just frozen out. So ask yourself, is this justice? Or just a business model with trauma and a briefcase? Next up we dig into Diddy. The whisper that became a wildfire. A mogul facing lawsuits from every direction and his daughters graduating while the courtroom waits. This ain't just headlines, it's a reckoning. Stay with us. Sean Diddy Combs. Puff Daddy. Brother Love. Billionaire bad boy. Whatever name he goes by, one thing's for sure, he's not just in the headlines. He is the headline. We're talking about a man who once danced in shiny suits with Mace, and now? He's ducking lawsuits like Spider-Man dodging bullets. This ain't just drama, it's Marvel villain level mayhem. We got federal raids on his homes. Surveillance footage of him physically assaulting Cassie, his ex. Multiple women coming forward with civil suits claiming sexual abuse, trafficking, violence, even revenge porn. It's like the Lifetime biopic wrote itself and then dropped the sequel the next day. Even Kid Cudi said Diddy had something to do with blowing up his car like he's trying to collect infinity stones. And the vibe? It's giving, rich, ruthless, and untouchable. Like if Thanos had a Bad Boy Records chain and a Ciroc sponsorship. Let's talk real numbers. Diddy ain't facing just one case, he's facing a stack. Civil lawsuits from women accusing him of horrifying abuse, and everyone's watching, waiting. Not for justice, but for a verdict that validates their suspicion. And just to throw gasoline on the tabloid fire, his twin daughters just graduated high school. One of the most wholesome moments of a father's life. But it hits different when your dad's trending for FBI raids instead of family pride. That's like posing for prom pics while your house is getting rated in 4K. And let's not lie, this Diddy saga has more layers than a lasagna cooked in hell. You got former artists speaking up, like Kalina from Dirty Money, who said Cassie liked getting high and giving lap dances. Meanwhile, the world just saw a man beat her on camera. That's not gossip, that's gaslighting with glitter. People are finally saying out loud what's been whispered behind platinum records for years. Diddy might be the villain in his own empire. Now zoom out. Look at the pattern. Zion Williamson accused of rape. $50 million lawsuit. Shannon Sharpe accused of abuse. $50 million lawsuit. Diddy? He's on boss mode. Allegations from all directions. The difference? Diddy got more money than both of them combined, and he's had decades to build the illusion of invincibility. But here's where the Rank Mogul lens cuts through the noise. This is bigger than Diddy. This is about the post-Me Too power shift. About how the mere whisper of sexual misconduct can collapse careers, facts be damned. And now we're living in the aftermath of that movement. The pendulum swung, and for a decade, the whisper was enough to ruin a man. Some of them deserved it. Some didn't. But now the people are tired. Now the culture is watching closer. And that brings us to this, the 30-year anniversary of the O.J. Simpson trial. Back in 1995, it was white versus black. Rodney King residue still in the air. When O.J. was found not guilty, Black America cheered, white America cried, and CNN broke the sound barrier with hot takes. Now it's 2025, and the battlefield ain't racial, it's gendered. If Diddy beats this, it won't be about race. It'll be men versus women. The culture split down the middle. Some calling it justice. Others calling it a failure. But everyone feeling the heat. Let's be real, Diddy's no saint. But are we watching a takedown or a true reckoning? Will he walk away like O.J. did, celebrated by some, hated by others? Or will the Me Too movement notch its most powerful trophy yet? Here's the overt prediction. Diddy will be found not guilty. And this time, instead of black cheers and white tears, the reaction will be men clapping back after a decade of fear. A decade where women could destroy any man's name with a whisper. But what happens when that whisper turns into a weapon? We'll find out in court. Up next we take you back 30 years to the trial that started it all. The juice is loose, and so is the truth. 1995. The gloves didn't fit. The verdict hit. And America split. 30 years later, the O.J. Simpson trial still echoes like a warning shot across culture, class, and courtroom floors. It wasn't just a murder case, it was a mirror. A mirror showing a country still bleeding from Rodney King's bruises. A country where justice wasn't blind, it was color-coded. O.J. walked out the front door while white America screamed foul and black America screamed finally. But let's get it right, O.J. wasn't a civil rights symbol, he was a celebrity shielded by race. A rich, charismatic black man caught in a system that rarely shows mercy to either. That's the paradox, they hated that he won, not because he was guilty, but because he wasn't supposed to beat the system. Fast forward 3 decades. The game changed but the playbook didn't. Now we've got Zion, Shannon, Diddy all facing sexual misconduct allegations with career-shattering consequences. Different faces. Same courtroom. But here's the plot twist, the racial lines are fading. The new battle is gendered. Today, it ain't white versus black, it's men versus women. Power versus pain. Accusation versus reputation. And what once took a full jury and a bloody glove now takes a tweet and a headline. Let's talk about the Mann Act, because this story isn't new, it's recycled. In 1910, the Mann Act was passed to combat white slavery trafficking. But quickly, it became a weapon. A way to take down black men accused of crossing state lines with white women. They used it on Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight champ, not because he was trafficking, but because he refused to bow. Sound familiar? Bill Cosby. R. Kelly. Men who were kings in their field, flawed, but also targeted. Their downfall was as much about their behavior as it was about the country's deep desire to watch powerful black men fall from grace. And now? Diddy's trial might be the final chapter of a 30-year pendulum swing. In the 90s, we fought for justice in a system built against us. In the 2000s, we watched that system morph under Me Too, where the whisper became a wrecking ball. Where a rumor could become a verdict before a courtroom even opened. And now we're in the fallout. The whisper has turned into currency. Justice for sale. Headlines for hire. But here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say out loud. Not every accusation is holy. Not every accuser is honest. Not every man is guilty. But the system doesn't care. The court of public opinion moves faster than the law, and it has no appeals process. O.J.'s trial was the last time the system lost its grip. Diddy's might be the first time men reclaim control. Because the pendulum is swinging back. Not because men are innocent, but because everyone's tired of the imbalance. The whisper became gospel. The gavel became a grenade. And too many lives got blown up in the blast. If Diddy is found not guilty, it won't be just a legal victory. It will be a cultural mutiny. A signal that the Me Too era's unchecked power is finally being cross-examined. That men good, bad, or gray won't be tried in Instagram comments anymore. O.J. was a moment. Diddy could be a movement. And let's remember, the court of law has rules. The court of culture doesn't. If we don't balance both, we're left with chaos. No justice. No closure. Just vengeance wrapped in hashtags. So as the world watches the next verdict drop, remember this, America doesn't learn from trials. It reacts to them. And 30 years later, the echoes of O.J.'s acquittal are still bouncing off the courtroom walls. The Whitehall Pass. Let's talk about selective justice. Because if you think the courts play favorites, wait till you meet the culture. Black men get trials. White men get trophies. Jerry Lee Lewis married his 13-year-old cousin. Not a scandal. A love story. He still ended up in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Elvis Presley? Groomed a 14-year-old Priscilla while he was in his 20s. He died a king. Graceland still prints money off that romance. Hugh Hefner ran a human petting zoo for 50 years. Teen girls in Playboy Mansion gowns, old men with cameras, and no RICO case in sight. He died a cultural icon. Woody Allen married his stepdaughter. We'll say that again, married his stepdaughter. And Hollywood kept the films, the funding, and the film festivals rolling. Gene Simmons from Kiss sang about lusting after a 16-year-old in Christine 16. That's not just lyrics, that's audio evidence. But the only thing arrested was the guitar solo. Meanwhile, black men are losing careers, contracts, and court cases over accusations, not convictions. You don't need proof to end a black man's legacy. You just need a good enough tweet. White America doesn't cancel its own. It collects them. Even when they cross lines that would send a black man straight to the front page, handcuffed and head down. Why? Because whiteness gets the benefit of the doubt. Blackness gets the burden of proof. Let's be real, if R. Kelly sang Christine 16 or married a 13-year-old cousin, he'd be under the jail by now. Oh wait, he did marry a teenager. And now he's rotting in a cell. But Jerry Lee? Still got a Lifetime Achievement Award. The system isn't just broken, it's biometric. It scans your skin tone before it scans your side of the story. So when people ask why we're skeptical, why we hesitate to throw our own under the bus at the first whiff of a headline, it's because we've seen the double standard work in 4K. And now, in the age of viral guilt and whisper economies, that double standard has evolved. It's not about the crime. It's about the color of the accused. This isn't justice. It's curation. And we call it the Whitehall Pass. Because here's the flip: serial victims get hurt too. Every time someone fakes a claim for clout or a check, it makes it harder for the next real survivor to be believed. The whisper economy doesn't care about justice. It cares about impact. And once the smoke clears, the truth is always an afterthought. We're living in a time where pain is monetized. Where trauma gets sponsored. Where someone's downfall gets packaged into clickbait and sold to advertisers at scale. And don't get it twisted, this ain't about protecting predators. It's about protecting the process. Because if you can destroy a man with a whisper and no evidence, then what's stopping it from happening to you? Every person watching this is one awkward breakup, one bitter ex, one screenshot taken out of context away from public execution. No trial. No testimony. Just trial by timeline. That's the whisper economy. And it's ruthless. Look, Diddy might be all the things they say. Zion might have made dumb decisions. Shannon might have crossed the line. But ask yourself, do we want a world where guilt is decided by headlines? Because if so, forget due process. Just give every angry person a mic and a ring light. We'll all be judged in the comment section. Here's the truth no one wants to hear. People lie. People exaggerate. People weaponize pain. And once the whisper leaves someone's mouth, it can't be unspoken, it becomes law, belief, judgment. And that belief? That's the most expensive part. That's what brands run from. What fans delete. What partners question. It costs more than money. It costs legacy. So be careful. Because the whisper economy never sends invoices, but you'll always pay the price. Rank Mogul out.